Hello and welcome to a quick update video. As you can see by the title, my book is nearing completion. The estimated publishing date would be January 15th, subject to change. This will be just a quick overview of what you'll be getting from the book and some questions. This will be the first of a 3-part series on the temperate crop series. The first in this book series will be Applied Crop History, Temperate Fruit Trees. This will cover, as close as possible, the history of temperate fruit trees in breeding and how this could be used in your own breeding program. The total number of pages is 228 pages in length, which includes references. The preface will be the first part of the book, effectively Chapter 0, and it spans pages 2 to 7. It gives out the definitions that will be utilized extensively within this book, as well as the acknowledgments towards the figures within this book who have the greatest influence on said book, and those that aided me within this process. Then begins Chapter 1, which will discuss the main crops that will be the main subject for the majority of this book. It will cover the domestication of apples, pears, plums, apricots, peaches, cherries, and grapes. This will describe the history from its wild form to its earliest form in domestication. Chapter 2 will discuss the genealogy of modern and heirloom cultivars within these 7 species. It will go on to have as much depth as possible within the framework of the scientific literature that could get access to, as well as other sources that are less reputable but I'd be remiss if it did not use. This will discuss how the cultivars, both heirloom and modern, trace their lineages back throughout history within a family tree. This is unfortunately incomplete in nature, as I'm limited by what's behind a paywall or not, and what research has been done. For the same reasons, some sections of this chapter will cover more speculation than others. Apples and pears are the most written about when it comes to genealogy, so they will be the most accurate in terms of sections within this chapter. The domestication section will cover pages 8 to 17, and Chapter 2 will cover pages 18 to 72. For the next chapter, you'll cover fruit art. Chapter 3 will consist of pages 73 to 91, and will cover the 7 crops mentioned before, once more, and the relationship to symbology and aesthetics. The next chapter will cover diseases of the different fruit species mentioned. It won't be an overview of every disease and their management within these fruit crops, just the most common one, and most importantly the ones where disease resistance breeding has been considered. The next chapter will be on the breeding program itself, basically bring together all the information in the previous chapters together to create a potential framework that anyone can use to breed new cultivars. This will also include some examples of what I would do if I was breeding a new variety in different environments, utilizing all the factors laid out in the previous chapters. The disease chapter will cover pages 92 to 113. The breeding program will consist of pages 114 to 162. The following chapter is about rootstocks. This will cover the nature of different rootstocks used in the different crops within Canada. Canada will be used as a case study for both the previous chapter and this chapter, primarily because it's one of the most restrictive in terms of cultivar availability in comparison to other North American and especially European nations. This is partially because Canada is who I know because I live here, and also because if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere when it comes to breeding program in fruit. The rootstocks chapter will cover pages 163 to 177. The following chapter will be on cider apples and pears. This will not cover the history of cider apples and pears, as much of that history is quite dubious in nature, nor will it cover how to make cider or what apples to use, as such books are already readily available, and in some cases for free. This will instead cover how to use these in the breeding program, using the same framework as a previous chapter on fruit breeding. This will cover pages 178 to 184. The next chapter will be on homesteading and backyard gardening. This will not be a how-to guide on how to grow apples in your backyard because, again, such documents have been written and rewritten in many published works, both free and for profit. This will instead, however, consist of taste tests of different apple cultivars and selected varieties that may be disease-resistant to multiple diseases and would be therefore suited to multiple areas. In a homestead environment, organic production environment, or just for plain old backyard gardening. This will consist of pages 185 to 193. The final chapter will be the conclusion. It will range from page 194 to pages 212. It will consist of a Cliff Notes version of the entire book, basically covering the final messages and all the key details I want you to know before you finish reading the book. If you want to just read the last chapter in the library to get the gist of things, the last chapter serves that purpose. If you've read through the entire book, the last chapter will basically reinforce the take-home messages. Following that, we have the appendix. This basically mops up any details that I want you to have, but would not fit within the framework of the book proper. This will cover pages 213 to 217, with the remaining pages being dedicated to references. Now that you have an overview of what the book will be, I'm working on the pricing. As of right now, Amazon still has the greatest reach in terms of book sales for physical books, when it comes to self-publishing, of course. From a price standpoint, in order to get a $5 to $10 royalty per book sold, I would need to sell it for somewhere between $25 to $30 on the basic plan, in which it will only be available on Amazon.com, or $30 to $40 in the expanded plan, which will allow for sale in bookstores, universities, libraries, etc., etc. As I am a first-time writer, I think feedback is important for everything, including pricing. So I'll ask you this. How much do you think this book is worth? $25, $30, $35, or $40? Please let me know in the comments section below. And thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you really enjoyed it and think you can donate, you can do so at Buy Me a Coffee, link in the description below. Thank you for watching.